helping you with real estate, Mr. Mike Johnston.
Right. I'd like to welcome everybody here today. We're going to go through, it's pretty much a simple setup. We're going to go through searching in Navica. Now, first off, when you log in, you're able to see the screen there. When you log in the upper right-hand corner, it shows right here your setup section. And that's what we want to do first, is we're going to go to the setup part. So click on that. Okay, now mine is slightly different than yours, and the reason why it's a little bit different is it has office things because I'm logged in as the broker. But when you come here, what we want to do is we want to be, get the wrong thing here. We want to go ahead and select certain things. So if we click over here on the uploader, what it's going to do is it's going to let you upload an agent picture. So if you have a picture that you want to upload, you can go ahead and log in here, select your name. It should be defaulted as just you, and then you're able to upload a picture. Here it says upload office logo, but I don't think you have that option. I believe it's already set there for the office logo. So that would be the first part. The second thing that you go into here is you're going to want to double check on the maintenance for yourself. So here I can go into everybody, but I'm just going to go down and find mine, HIJ, there I am. Now here, you're able to put down information about you, designations. It shows some of the stuff comes from the association office, what they have down for you. And it says when I was added into this in 2003 for this association or this MLS. You can put in your email signature, so when things go out, you have something there, and you can modify the picture. This is the picture that we uploaded on that other screen. So that would be some of the setups that you have. Here it says view education records. If you've taken any classes through the local association, it shows that. I'm going to click on it because I don't think it shows other ones, but I'm kind of curious. All right. It does show some other things on there. You can't really see it because it's not letting me share that screen. Modify this real quick, move this out of the way. Okay, so that's a little bit there. Coming back to the home screen over here on the left-hand side. So here we are at the main screen now. See all these different things that you've got there, all those different, the calendar and other things. You can modify this and have this appear to be the way that you would like it to be. And so that totally depends on you. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to resources on the left-hand side, click on resources. And then it says My Navica homepage up here on the top. So we click on My Navica homepage, and here it shows the different pods or columns and things that are available. And then here you can modify. I have my calendar, the news, the links, reports, market activity, listings, real estate news, saved searches, those type of things. So you can move these up and down, arrange them, add different things into it, and put those there and delete it. Now under My Calendar, down here below it shows the My Calendar. You can change the settings, show today's events. You can add different little things, and all these different little things that you want to do, you can modify all of those right there. Okay, and then don't forget to click Save on the right-hand side. Now that's just a little bit of cosmetic stuff. Okay, also here you see links on the top, so let's go ahead and click on the links button. Now links has three different tabs: links, documents, and preferences, of which you can click on the left and other spots as well. This document button here is the same as this one here, so there's some of the things that are the same. This has different websites that you can go to under the links. Under documents, That's the same as this one right here. Here are some easy stats. If you wanted some automatic stats and you didn't have to run upstairs or contact Anderson Hicks or somebody else to do some stats, this is some basic stats. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to click Bonneville County Stats. I click on that and look what it shows us. It gives us a bunch of information here. Just talks about the units sold, days on market, median sales price, number of new listings this year compared to last year. Okay, so that's 2018 and 2019. It has some simple things there in case you wanted to see those. Okay, there's also different documents that are here that you can get if you needed. They're available here. Then the third thing that we're going to click on is preferences. This goes back to being able to make a few modifications. How many links would you like to show? You can change that. One other thing here under the forms, up here on the right-hand side, forms. These are MLS data sheets. Well, what are they good for? If you go out and list a property, you could print off one of these MLS data sheets and you can fill them out by hand while you're there at the property. It talks about number of bedrooms, baths, square footage, all those different little things. And it's very beneficial because it shows you what the options are, like 3-tab shingle, architectural shingle. It gives you the different options so you know what needs to be filled out. Very important to have. So go ahead and you can see those different forms that are there. All right, so that's the basic setup. We're going to go ahead into the search tab. So off on the left-hand side, you see the search button. So we're going to go ahead and click on search. This is what we really use the MLS for. It's to pull up information about the property. And we can search for things and find things that we're wanting to share with other prospective people, so our buyers that we're working with. Or we can use the same type of stuff when we're doing a market analysis to come up with some value for a property. All right. Okay. So in here, we have the different options. There's search, there's hot sheet search, so you can pull up the different things that have happened on daily basis. So I'll show you that real quick. Here's the dates. You can put down what you want to find out. New listings that came on, so you can find out what new listings came on in a certain period of time. Here's a tax search field. This is very beneficial if it's never been listed or it's not showing up on the MLS. You want to get some information about 123 Main Street. You can pull it up and find out who owns it. So you can get that information, basic square footage, and other things about the property that they're being utilized or that they have for for tax purposes, how they're assessing the different people. Okay. And you have Bannock County, Bingham, Fremont, and Madison. So you have the different counties that are here. Then history, you can just go back and see the information by a history on a certain MLS number or on a property. You can pull up all that information. Okay, so coming back to the search section, you can do that. Okay, so once we're here, let's go ahead and search for residential. So right here, you can highlight residential if you wanted to search, or you can search for all property types at the bottom or a specific type. Over here on the right, you can search by the MLS number. So if somebody says, oh, here's the MLS number, you can type that in and it will pull it up. There's the links for the forms, so you can go to Instant Form Simplicity. There's a search by map, and we're going to go through these. There's a search by map. You click on that, and you can choose an area of town or an area of the state, and it will pull up listings there. And then here's all the information for just a general search. So right now, let's come down here and do a general search based on all of this criteria that we have down here below. So property type, I can either select like single family. I can hold the control button down and select more than one thing if I would like to. Or I can say exclude selected. So I can highlight everything that I don't want chosen. So I can say exclude selection. The ones that aren't selected will be the ones that I search for. But let's just do a single family search. Property status, it's showing me active, short sale, and under contract with contingencies. Well, some people don't want under contract with contingencies, so they might modify this to just be active. But then maybe you want to pull up some solds in a certain neighborhood, so you can highlight that. But I'm just going to put single family and active. the next paragraph, the next column. So we're going down here and hitting the different tabs for the areas. Where do I want this to be? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click Idaho Falls. So I scroll down to Idaho Falls. I hit my control button. I hit Iona. I'm going to scroll to the very top and hold my button down, and I'm going to click Ammon. So I want those three areas. I can do zoning. I can search by a certain price range. I can search for a street and sub areas. So more things that I start, and or number of bedrooms and baths. The more things I start to enter, it's going to narrow down what it is that we're going to be able to find. High schools, middle schools, that type of stuff. They're selling information for sold price. Okay, improvements. I can pull up who has it listed right now, because I'm looking at active stuff by office or by agent. So I have all these different little things. I can search by the contract type. Most of the time that doesn't really affect us much. But you can see all these different things. After I have all that highlighted, I can click show criteria that tells me what it is, or I'll click search. So I'll just go ahead and click search. And I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of properties come up because I didn't really narrow it down to too many things. So here it's searching and finding things. It says I have 186 entries, so it has all that stuff right there for us. So then I can go through and narrow it down, etc. Here I can show the criteria, but I'm going to go back and return to search. By returning to search, I want to now say, okay, I liked all that stuff I have, but I want a home that has at least 4 bedrooms. So if I put in the 4, it's going to do 4, and it goes up. Bathrooms, I want at least 2 bathrooms or more. So I can do that, and I can click Start Search. So last time we had, what was it, 186. Now it's going to narrow it down from that amount. But you can do the search and find things specific. You can have it be a certain subdivision if you'd like. You can have it be a certain square footage of the home, those type of things. So here it's 138 properties. Okay. Normally you're going to come in here and say, I need something between 150,000 and 200. Across the top here, it shows all the different little things you have. So if you wanted to change it, you could click an X and mark it off. So here's 3 properties that are there. So once you have that, you can take a look at it and review what these are. You can save the listings. Sometimes you want to email these off to people, so you can click email and send those off. You can map the properties that are selected. So I'm going to go ahead and over here and click all. It shows those 3, and I'm going to click the map button. Now when I click the map button, it opens up this new little screen, and it says select properties. And it shows me a map where those particular properties are. I'm going to zoom in. So if you had multiple properties, you could pull it up that way as well. Now here's the neat thing. It shows the road. You can do aerial, change that. So you can see where it is compared to some of the other stuff that's there. All right. Now, if you want to, you can print this off at the bottom. You can close it or see full page. So I'm going to go ahead and click close. Now, with those 3 selected, I could get directions. So if I'm trying to go show properties for somebody, I click on the directions button. And it says I'm going to start at, and the default for me is 3525 Merlin Drive. And it shows where I'm going to end. And I can click go. So it gave me an idea of how to do this, but I could change the order because maybe I wanted to show up at a certain home at the very end. So here it shows me starting here, and it tells me what to do. Go up to B, come over to C, and then come back to D. So that's something simple that you could do if it's not for yourself. If you have somebody that doesn't know the neighborhood very well, this right here can help them have turn-by-turn directions. And you can email these directions off here at the very bottom. Okay. All right. So let's close that up. Now that's the direction part. So we talked about map directions. Now here is just if you wanted to look at them. So let's click on the view. It'll show us the 3 different properties here. So we can review the information on the home, read through it and find out if it's something that we're liking. If it is, we can highlight and check box here, but I have them all defaulted. You can click on the picture here and it will bring up another little window. And when it does this, it doesn't always show it on your screen, but on mine it does. It pulls up a window of all the pictures, so it's not showing that to you. So that would be the view. I can go into email. So let's go back to the results, the main screen. We can email this information off to somebody. So if I click email, it brings this up and I can say the full display or results display. And for residential, I can choose the different displays that I want to do. I'd go in and take a look at these different ones because you can make your own as well, but these are some of the default ones. And take a look and find out which one is the best for you when you send off information for people. Because you can also set this up that it automatically will send out an email when something matches the criteria that you're searching for. And if you do that, you want to make sure that it sends it out in a way that you want it to show up. So make sure it has the agent information there, contact information, all of that. So do some sending things to you and looking at things online before you do a lot of marketing. Okay. So that would be to be able to email things out. Slideshow, just a little feature that you can take a look at some of the different pictures. You can put in filters, pull up some stats, reports, and other things like that. Now, this particular criteria that we searched for, let's say I've got a buyer that I want to save this information for because this particular person I'm working with right now. So I want to make sure that I always save this information or that I share it with them. So right up here, I can click Save Search Criteria. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I'm going to call this my $150,000 to $200,000 IF search. Okay. Now I can say on here, it says save to my saved searches. I can assign it to a contact, or I can assign the search criteria to a new contact or prospect. Let's go ahead and click new. So I have this all the way that I want it. I've gone through and done all my searches, but now I want to assign this to somebody. Okay, so I do that and I click save. Now what it's going to do, it saved it there and it says, oh, we need to assign it for somebody. So it pulls up a brand new page for a contact. Now here I'm going to be able to fill out the information. Things with the stars, the red stars, are assigned. So with this in mind, and Josie loves it when I do this, I'm going to send this information to Josie. Okay, and she is a buyer. She's really not looking for a home, but we're just going to pretend like she is.
I just got my home.
I know. Okay, so Josie, I type in Josie. Was it Josie dot? W-A-Y-L-A?
No, no dot.
No dot. A-N-D. I'll take that out in just a second. KW.com. So I come back over here and I just get rid of that dot. So Josie Wayland at KW dot, not XOM, COM. So I put in the email address, and I can put more information in here as well. Now, this information is kept private. This is information for you. So if you wanted to print things off or keep track of stuff, you can do it. Command and other places have more information, but I'm just showing you this basic little bit here of what the MLS has available for you. Okay? There's also agent notes. You can give access to different agents if you wanted to share this information. Put down the anniversary, birthday, whatever, and then click save. So now that we have this saved, that search is assigned to, wait for it, it's assigned to Josie. So anytime anything matches this criteria, I can get this set up to send out to her. So here, subject, new home ideas. Message, Josie, thinking about moving, or whatever you want to say. Think about these. Okay. Then here under notify customer, if you say yes, it's going to send it, and you can have an email and text you if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and do both just for fun. And notify whenever there's a new listing, a price change, something comes back on the market, and miscellaneous changes. Now, I guess I'm a little devious because a lot of people mark all of these and the miscellaneous changes. If I really wanted to annoy people and have my listing show up a lot, I would go in and do a miscellaneous change on the listing, and then it resends it out to people. But I think other people figured that out too, so I don't mark the miscellaneous change now because it sends it out and it can bother Josie. And Josie doesn't want to be bothered. She just wants to know if it's a brand new listing or if the change in price or if it's come back on the market because it had an offer. So I'm just going to highlight those. Search frequency. If she is high maintenance and wants to know everything that's going on, I can select hourly. Daily.
Every hour.
Every
Jeez.
hour. That way Josie knows what's going on because she really is anxious to find a home. And sometimes in today's market, you want this to go out quickly. So it'll do a search. If it doesn't find anything, it won't send anything. It won't send a whole list of all the old stuff. It's just new things. So I'm going to go ahead and put down hourly, but I could do hourly, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly. So we're going to do hourly. Now this next part, allow reverse prospecting. This search that I had all the information about what we're looking for. If I click allow reverse prospecting, another agent could come in here. Let's say that Paula goes ahead and does a search. She can search to find out how many people, with the new listing she has, how many people out there right now have buyers matching the criteria for this home. And she could put it in at 190,000, then she could say at 195. So she could kind of get a feel for, based on the different price that's there, if there's more people at 195 or more at the 190 or something. So I don't have a problem with the allowing reverse prospecting field. Go ahead, Paula.
That's very interesting. I didn't know about that feature.
Yeah, but it only works if other people click the allow reverse prospecting.
Okay.
But I would recommend that you do that because if for some reason you're not paying attention to stuff, another agent might call up and say, hey, Mike, I noticed that you have a prospect that matches the home that I'm about to list over at 123 North Main Street, or that I just listed, and that way it works out. Use my NMail signature. That's the signature that you filled out earlier that you can put a picture and all the information. So you can say that if you want to. So I'll click that. And I'm going to click, I can either click cancel, save, or save and get results. I'm going to click save and get results because this lady wants to have stuff sent out to her. So I've got that done and it's still thinking. Your current matches have not been emailed. Okay, so it hasn't been emailed yet, but it just shows the matches. It ran that search. Here's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight those three. I can click email all results to the new prospect, return to search, show criteria, or save search. I'm going to click email all email all the results. So now it's been sent. So Josie is getting a little email from me, and I think I had it set up that I get an email too, so I'll get that. And then she can go through there and take a look at the information that was sent and contact me. Now, the neat thing, if you mark on here to send that same information to you once a day or hourly or whatever you have it set up for, they're going to get that email to look at, whether on their phone or whatever way that they're checking it, and you're getting the same thing. So as soon as you get it, you better be looking through there really quick and taking a look at those things, because if they call you back, you're going to be able to have previewed some of those new listings, and you can say, oh yeah, I just saw that. I thought you'd be excited about it, so I sent it to you. It's a way to save you time by having it do this searching and sending the information out, where you don't have to really spend a whole lot of time to do that. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Great. So now that we've done that, we've set up a contact. We've set them up as a prospect, and that's the quick way to do it. Now you can go in and manage your prospects and things like that over here on the left-hand side, contacts and things. So let's go take a look at that here in just a second. But we did a search, we narrowed it down to what we want, and we sent it off. Somebody have a question? Good. You guys are so nice. Okay, so that was that search. Let's go back to our search field again. So I'm just going to click on search on the left-hand side. All right. Now here, I'm going to click on my last search because see down here below, nothing's highlighted. I'm going to click on last search so it will pull up the information that I had. Click load. And now it highlighted all the things that I had before, the 150 to 200,000. So it has everything saved there. So that's something simple that you can do if you wanted to remember the last search that you did. Or you can reset it and start all over again. Okay, so let's go back to that search. So if I click on the search button, it brings up my search field. And right now nothing's highlighted. So if I want to remember something I did, I can go into last search. Or let's say that I've saved several different searches. So I can come back in here and I can click the save searches. That's my Alexa. She talks to me all the time during the day and tells me when somebody drops off a package. Here is different little things that I've done in the past. I can highlight one of these and click get results or load it in so I can modify it if I click load. Get results, we'll go ahead and run the search so I can see everything. Okay, so that's if you have some saved searches there. That's here. Now I have some residential saved searches. So I come up here to the saved searches and it shows some that I have right here. At 150 to 185, here's a 135 to whatever, and different stuff. So I can load those as well. So as you save different searches, let's say that you work a certain price range or a subdivision, or you have a geographic farm that you utilize. If you have that information, you can have these different things selected and utilized. So when people, you can run that search rather simply. Now you can have more than one prospect use the same search. So if there's several people going to be utilizing or searching for a certain price range, you can have more than one person utilizing that same search. Okay. Now let's go into the search by map. But before we do that, I'm going to load my last search. So I'm going to click load. So it pulls up all that information that I had, the 150 to 200 price range. But up here it says search by map. Okay, so I'm going to click on that map search area. Okay, it doesn't open up the screen for you to see that. So I'm going to have to do a different share here really quick. So I'm going to click new share. And I'm changing to a different screen there so you can see that. All right, so this is a sub window that popped up. And I don't have it, it shows me a specific window, so I had to change the share so you could see that. In here, I can do a radius search. Here it shows 1 mile. I can change that to something else. I can draw a box, polygon. I can exclude the selected area. I want to show actives, closed. I can click this different statuses that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to draw a box. I want to pull things from here over to there. Okay. Then I'm going to apply. Look at all those properties that are there. Then I'm going to apply criteria to the search. Now it sent me back to my previous screen, so I'm going to have to share a different screen with you now. So based on that, it comes back here and it modified that. So I'm now going to go ahead and click search. And lo and behold, of course, shows the same three because that's the criteria that I had. I should change that. I'm going to change this instead of, I'm going to take out that list price. So it's going to modify that for us. There's a ton more, but I'm going to go back to the search because I guess I didn't really do that the right way for us. So we're going to go in and do a new search, reset the criteria so there's nothing there because it kind of defeats the purpose if I've already told it what I want. So I'm going to click reset the criteria so everything's off. I'm going to go into the map search area. And it should be opening up the new screen. So I'm going to share the search screen there. You can see this screen now. So I want to do a box. And I want to pull things up that are in this area right here. And it shows those properties. So here I can either just highlight over the top of those and kind of see a little bit and learn about it. I can highlight under contract with contingencies. I can pull up, turn off the actives, and I can just say I want to see the expireds. I want to pull up closed properties that are there. Things that are pending. I can do that, whatever I want, and I click the apply. Okay, so you can see how it changes. It pulls up the closed. I can set that to go back so far. I want it to go back 6 months. Or I can put in a specific thing. So I click apply. So there it shows the different colors that are there. But you can go back and pull up a lot of different information here. I'm going to just do 1 month. And click one more thing. It can be really good for you when you have information that is specific to what you want, but I took out price and all this other stuff, so this really isn't meaning much, but I'm showing you what information is there, how you can do a search for it. Okay? And you can change this again instead of the road view if you want to. You can go into aerial. I like that because sometimes there's a monument or something there that you know. It's like, oh, I know where that is. So it makes a little bit more sense when you're zooming in on things. Okay? So there's some information there and you can go over the top of those. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this screen. I'm going to go back and do a new share screen. Get back to where we were. All right. So that's a little bit of the search information. Now we're going to go back another time here to the search menu. Now on the search menu, if you have several different, let's say that you have an address. Somebody says, I saw something on Lost River Drive. And you don't know anything about that property on Lost River Drive. They don't have an MLS number or a price. You don't even know who has it listed. So you could come in here under the search by map, and you could search on here by the road name. So I'm going to start typing in Lost River. And it says Lost River Avenue and Road. But maybe it wasn't Lost, it was Fall River.
Right. Yeah, good. So if she didn't set the appointment and she doesn't have Maya's appointment labeled.
I'm going to mute you. There we go. So we'll click Fall River Drive and Fall River Road. So keep those selections. I don't have the house number, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just pulling up active and under contract, so I've got that information. And all I do is I go ahead and click search. And I should have a few things right here. So here's one right here that's available. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it to look at it for 360,000. There's the picture of the property. It tells me 7 bedrooms, 4 baths, 4 total baths, etc. square footage, and it says some information that's here. And Doug Hall from our office has that listed. So I've got that information here. So that's another way that you can search for things. Go back to the search screen. Any questions on the search function before we go to something else? Okay, so we've done the searching. Let's take a look at the contacts just briefly since we added a contact. All right, so Josie is in here. And I have myself. So if I click on this, I can go ahead and I can open this particular one up. And I can modify the information. Let's say she gets a different email address. I can modify that and put other information in here. So then I'm going to go back. All right. So that would be contacts. If I want to add a contact, I can click right here and I can enter that information like we did before. I can export my contacts into a CSV file. So if you put stuff here and you want to save it or use it for something else, you can do so. Or you can import contacts, and it can help you by importing different things from Excel, from Google or Gmail or something along those lines, or other places, or even just an Excel spreadsheet so you can bring the people in. Then you can start to set them up for prospecting and for searches. Okay, that's the contacts. Prospects. A prospect for Navica is different than a contact. A contact is information about somebody. A prospect is when you're doing searches and finding things for that particular contact. So you can come into here and you can see that there's one saved search. And over here it says it's going to contact with text and things like that. Then here you can delete them, send them an email right now. You can view the email log that's happened, and you can see the searches that were saved to this person, make notes and things. Okay, so that's our contacts. Moving into add listing. So on the left-hand side, add listing, the very top thing on here. So if you are working with sellers, which I hope many of you are, you can go ahead and enter a new listing here. So you click on add listing and it has the information here. Now sometimes we have a property that was not on the MLS that we're going to add it as a comparable. They changed the name here. It says add listing is sold/closed. It used to say add listing or add comparable. So we used to have that here, but or for a comparable, I think it used to say. So if you wanted to do that, you could do the same thing. You just say what type of property it is, and you'll start to enter that information. But let's come over here for add a listing. We just got a brand new listing, residential, so I click that. Select an area of town. I can go ahead and choose that it's going to be in, oh, it's right towards the top, Bonneville. Click apply. Now, the reason we select that area is it's going to modify some of the fields that we have to select from. Zoning is going to change, the subdivisions, all that type of stuff. So when we go in and enter information, it will be selecting the right subdivision, because there could be a something park subdivision in Ammon and the same thing in Iona. We don't want to have the searches be wrong. So this helps us out. Okay, so you go ahead and you enter in who it is that's doing the listing. Now, this right here, this doesn't work this way for you because you are lucky enough to just have the one person to deal with. Sometimes on a team it might show more than one, but I think it just shows whoever you logged in under. Details, single family. Now most of these fields right here below, it says required field, so it shows you what's going to be asked for or required that needs to be filled out. List price, you can put in the price, the list date, expiration date, and you can start to go through here. Now remember, earlier on we talked about those MLS data sheets. If you had one of those MLS data sheets and you filled it out when you were at the property, when you come back, you can just utilize that sheet and remember, and it will show you the different options that you have. So that makes it very easy. So if you are a listing assistant or you're entering information for somebody, the agent could take that data sheet out there, fill it out at the home, come back, and you can put all this information in. And it makes it a lot easier. Because if you enter something wrong, people sometimes are going to hold you to it. Even though they're supposed to verify everything, we have those disclaimers. It's always best to make sure that you put information in right. Just the other day, I had somebody put in that it was forced air gas heat on a property. They closed on it. Luckily, we got the things figured out, but it wasn't gas heat. It was electric forced air heat. That can make a difference for people. Square footage can make a difference if you put something down that's more or less than the amount that's there. Bedrooms and baths, same thing. Condition of the property, all these different little things. Why? When you're searching on the MLS, you can go in and search for specific things. You could search for a carport. You could search for a sunroom. You could search for a shop. When you go in and you want to search for those things, the information that you have and you mark those things correctly on the listing side, it makes it easier for somebody that's working with a buyer to find that. Okay, so let's just scroll through here. You can see the subdivisions, taxes, who lives in the property, etc. It used to be that you could put down on file for the owner or something along that lines. You can't. You need to put down at least their last name. Okay, so remember that. Phone numbers. You can put down the occupant phone numbers if you have that. My alert says the listing has been auto-saved to your partial listings due to no activity. So it's going to keep you updated as you're going through here. So that's nice. But go through and put everything down that you can. If you want the people to contact you directly instead of contacting the seller or the tenants, you can do so. You can put that down under the showing instructions. And you can put down occupant name or something, put down agent. They can contact you with the phone number. All right, so go through this and answer all the different little questions, legal description. Now, in the legal description, you don't need to go down all the way through to township range and all that stuff. If it's in a subdivision, you just need to put down lot and block and the subdivision information. So it can pull that information up for you. Covenants, if there's restrictive covenants, what you're offering for the different agents, etc. Then here's the data grid, and every single one of those needs to be filled out. So if there's nothing there, you put a 0. Comments, what's included, excluded, public information, private information, driving directions. When someone's first getting to know the neighborhood or the town, it's nice to have these driving directions that are there so that they can find the property. So you could say heading north on 25th Street or on Sunnyside, take a right on such and such. I think it's neat when you have this information down and somebody calls up and says, tell me where this property is. And you can read those directions, how somebody can go there. So that helps out. Granted, we all have GPSs and we can do that type of stuff too, but it helps you know how to get there. Features. This is the part that's really important. You can go through and mark the different features. If it's brick construction, here's the showing type. Call the owner, call listing agent. There's a lockbox vacant. If the property is vacant and somebody wants to do a quick showing, because sometimes they haven't pre-approved their buyers yet, and they want to go out and look at some properties. Sometimes they'll go out and look at the homes that are vacant because they don't have the information back yet. They're not sure how much time they want to spend with these people. So that's a benefit there. Lockbox occupied. We need to make sure that everybody always understands how they're supposed to contact and talk with the people to get things verified and approved for their showings. So put down that information here. Style, garage stall numbers. Now, it's been decided by the MLS that we do not put in, if it's a 3-car garage, we don't mark a 1 and a 2 and a 3. We're supposed to paint a clear picture of the property. So if you go in here and it pulls up as a 1-car garage and it's really a 3, you're supposed to submit that for disciplinary actions to whoever has it listed. So if you're the one entering it in and you mark down that it's a 3-car garage and a 2-car garage because people that are searching for a 2-car garage don't mind a 3-car as well. No. When you're doing stats, when you're doing information on solds, you want to have the actual picture of the property there. So make sure that you have that down right. It's not 1, 2, and 3. It's just the 3-car garage if that's what it is. Heat sources, the primary heat source, and if there's other types, you can mark more than one. Air conditioning, exterior, And it goes through here over and over, just tons of information that's here. And the more information that you can put down and paint a clear picture, people can search for this. So it's very nice to do that. Now, what do you do if you're not sure on something? When in doubt, go without. Don't put something down that you're not sure about. If you say that there's water rights, you better know what they are. Them are fighting words around Idaho, when you say about water rights. Or you say, oh, I think it was electric heat, but I'm not quite sure. Or, oh, I think it was 3-tab shingles and not architectural. I'm not sure. Well, you can do save as a partial and then find out. Sometimes you might call the seller and say, oh, I missed something, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Are your shingles, what type are they? So you can get that corrected. Worst case, if you made a mistake and you find out about it, as soon as you can, come back and correct it. Some people may have a print off that they printed off if they're showing homes on Saturday to people and you didn't correct it until Saturday morning. They might have a print off with the wrong information there. Especially if an offer comes in. Make sure that you explain to that agent, hey, you may have printed off, I had the wrong square footage down. It said 3,800, it was really 3,200. I just want to make sure you have that. So that way they're aware of it before they even write the offer. So please correct things if you know of mistakes. All right, so that would be adding a listing. So you put all that information in there, then you can click Save as a Partial, or you can click Submit. Normally you're going to click Save as a Partial. Then you can add and view photos here. You can add a co-listing agent over here on the left-hand side. If for some reason you're working on a team or with other people and you forget, or you put something in wrong under the co-listing, typically what you need to do is contact me and I can log in and I can add that co-listing agent for you. When you do that, just send me an email to johnston@kw.com would be fine, and just put down the MLS number so I can pull it up and say, hey, Mike, could you add so-and-so as a co-listing agent? And I can go in and do that for you, okay? Because otherwise, many times it won't let you make that change. Okay, so that's adding a listing. I'm not going to go through the other parts. You can upload documents and things. On Wednesday, when we go through this for Pocatello, it's going to be pretty interesting because Pocatello requires you to have a lead-based paint document in there if it's supposed to be there in a property disclosure form. If you don't enter it, you're in trouble. So right here, we can get by without it because we can add it later, but they get really particular about making sure it's added already. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save as a Partial. So it saves that. All right, so that's adding listings. Now, on the left-hand side, it shows My Listings. So if I click on My Listings, it shows the ones that I have, and I can go in there and off on the right, it says Edit Listing, and I can modify those and make changes. Here it shows how many days are on the market and a hit count. That shows how many times it's been searched for and people have pulled up about it. So you can kind of keep track of that. I can refresh that number if I want to and clear it off. I can search for things, okay? So that would be under your inventory and your partial. So here, that's inventory and partial listings. I'm going to click on that. And here's that one that we were working on. So I can go in and I can pull it up and finish it, fix it, or I can delete it. Saved listings, same type of stuff. Let's go into reports and invoices. Under reports. Here, I am able to pull up production. So if you want to find out who's done certain things, there's limited amount that you can do. I have company access, so I can pull up the company stuff. But you could pull up production for the agent that you're logging in for or for yourself. And you can save the different custom reports you have. Here's production, market share, sold, listed. So it pulls up things about the neighborhood or the area or the full market in general. Okay. Report builder, you can go in and create it, how it will come out and appear for you. And invoices, I don't think we really use in polling, but that would be for some of the basic reports that you have there. Roster. Under the roster, sometimes you may not know what one of the agents look like. You're trying to say, oh, I can't remember who so-and-so is or something. Here you can pull it up and pull up a roster and see who the people are. Or you can see where they work, get their contact information, etc. But you can also download this information. Now, some people take it, download it, put it into their system so they can send out emails to the different agents about properties. That's one thing you can do. You can also download the pictures. So you have the pictures of the people and you can add them into your contacts in your database. So you have a picture when you're making a phone call to somebody. It shows that. Now, in here, you can pull up and look for by their name. You can include the agent photos. You can come in here and say, I want to pull up all the appraisers. You can click on that. Or I want the non-realtor members. I want the brokers, an agent. You can click the different little things and then have it do the search. And then you can save that as a CSV file, which you can open up in Excel and other documents, or even some of those you can import into Google and Gmail. So you have that information. So that would be for the roster. Now, the bottom thing here, multitask. Let's say you're doing all this search and you have everything done, but you want to open up another window for another search for somebody else real quick. You can click on the multitask and it will open up another window for you. So let's just click on that. And it opens up a brand new window for us. And everything's there. We can do what we need to do the searches, etc. But if I want to go back, I go up to my top left screen and I go back to where I was in Navica for that other search that I did. Okay, so that would be the multitask feature. I'm going to close that other window because one window is enough for me. News and events. Well, right now, it's kind of boring coming into news and events because everything's been canceled, some COVID-19 thing or something. So when we come in here, the calendar looks pretty empty. They typically on this calendar will put down things that the association has, the MLS has, those type of things. And you can actually have this calendar show up onto your calendar. You can do that type of stuff and have it show up into Gmail. But right now, you see my calendar, association events, open houses, MLS board news, office news, agent news, forums. So if we wanted, as an office, we could put stuff here. We use a different one, so we don't. But the association events, you click over here onto the association events, there's nothing. But in the past, we used to have things here so you knew when the association luncheon was. You knew when they're doing the office tours in the morning for the MLS and things. So right now, nothing, but later on, we can add things here. Sometimes they'll put down the events. Over here on the right-hand side, it says register for events. Let's say that they're having the Christmas installation banquet or whatever. Sometimes they'll say, go ahead and log on to the MLS and you can sign up for it. They'll have links here where you can do that. Okay. CMA. Now, this could be this is a whole class. So I'm not doing a class on CMAs. They changed this, I think, about a year ago or something. So they've modified it. But with the CMAs, I think this is a great feature that you can utilize, but you need to customize it. So we'll have to have a class on this some other time. But the one thing that I think is really good with this is if you're doing, you're working with a relocation company, or you're required to do an update every month on a property, by saving all that information in here, it makes it easier when you do those updates to provide that information to the REO company, the lender, or whoever it is. So that can be a time saver for you. All right.